Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is the Hit the Pick Founders Show. You have found us. Congratulations. I am your host, Scott the Steamroller Steen, and I am joined by a full panel today. Well, he will be here. We will be full in a minute when Mr. Delano stops by, but we also have a very special guest. We're going to talk a little NBA, a little NHL, maybe some MLB, and of course, we'll have the UFL minute with Mr. Loud Esmond. He's back to answer all of your UFL questions that you didn't even know you had. But first, let's meet our very special guest for this show. If you follow gambling content at all, if you're on the socials, you know this guy. It is Guns Picks. What's up, Guns? How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's a beautiful Wednesday here in Maryland. It's been pissing rain on our heads, but I digress. But we're here. I'm ready to join the show. Let's get into it.
All right, excellent. I love that energy. It's just like you, Tom. He's fired up just like you, over the top all the time.
That's right.
Let's start with a gentleman who has decided to stop by. He's a semi-regular on this show, despite being one of the co-founders. You know him, you love him. He's the pride of upstate Washington. It's Mr. Loud Esmond. What up, Loud?
Well, how are you guys? Sorry, I've had quite the travel schedule lately. So I've been missing some of the founder show, but glad to be back. Yeah, I mean, I'll talk some UFL. I'll talk some way too early NFL futures on the show today as well. So that's and a little bit about the hockey playoffs, but you know, it's so much harder now when you've boiled it down to these four teams. Besides the Panthers, who I really believe strongly in, night to night, it's going to be hard to pick. I mean, the only real strategy I'm sort of looking at is take the team that's getting the plus money. You know, I mean, that's because I think any team could win any game right now. So just a few early thoughts.
Well, that's the motto of any good professional handicapper. I don't know, maybe plus money. Sure. Okay, well, we'll see if anybody else has a slightly different take on that, and maybe there's an angle. Speaking of angles, it's the world's best angle shooter. He is coming to you all the way from fabulous Las Vegas. He pays $1,400 to live in that closet, if you guys can believe that. It is amazing. It's the one and only Sniper West. What up, Snipe?
What is up, everybody? I'm stoked to be on the show today. Yeah, we're actually talking some college and some NFL futures, which is kind of cool now that the schedule's out and everything. And right in the thick of baseball, and we got WNBA if we want to talk about that too. I love the W. There's always some value in the W, I feel. So yeah, still a lot to get into.
I think we all love the W. It's the NBA part that I think troubles a lot of us. But in case you're wondering, in case you're a regular to the show and you're wondering how long it's going to be before I stop making fun of Wes from shooting in a closet, over under right now is 8.5 more weeks. So just place your bets accordingly. And speaking, we're gonna fly all the way back out across the coast, out there in Guns neighborhood, neck of the woods, if you will. The pride of Philadelphia. It's a big day for him because the tush push is still legal. It's the one, the only Tom Macrina, aka Rye Cape. What up, Rye?
Yeah, I don't know how they could change that anyway. It's not I'm glad the tush push is here to stay. But yeah, same thing. We got bad weather here, but it's Memorial Day weekend is coming up. Great weekend of racing. I'm excited to go.
How did your camping
I heard
trip go?
My camping trip?
Yeah.
It was good. Fun.
Yeah,
nice and relaxing. Yeah, I enjoyed myself.
Catch any fish? Shoot any bear? I don't even know. What do you do out there?
I didn't do any of that. I got a tan.
He drinks.
Got a tan? Excellent.
I drink.
He drinks.
Okay, well, that's fair.
That's the sport.
That's an activity. All right. So as we sit here,
I'm not against it.
You're not against drinking?
No.
Are you a hard liquor man? What do you drink?
Yeah, Wild Turkey is 101 is my go-to.
That's what I kind of grew up with. I was either Bacardi 151 or Wild Turkey 101. In fact, when I first started performing, every time I had to go up on stage, before I went up, I had to have 2 Wild Turkeys on the rocks with lemons. So there you go. Conquered my stage.
Always a good start.
Yeah, very good. Wild turkey, good stuff. Not bad for domestic, eh? All right,
Yeah,
so
at least it's not like Everclear on the rocks or something like that. I mean, that'd be some dangerous territory. I'd probably recommend you to an AA meeting if that was your drink of choice.
That'll put hair on your hair right there. A little.
You know what AA meetings are full of? Bunch of quitters.
Are people trying to quit?
I just want to have the cigarette concession of any AA meeting. That's all.
And the coffee.
And the coffee. That's right. Either
bad coffee, right? Bad coffee.
All right. So let's speaking of getting yourself to a meeting, I got wiped out on the NBA game on Tuesday night, and it wasn't great. What'd you guys think about that performance? Did you watch the NBA? You want to talk a little NBA at all?
Pass.
All right, good. Excellent. More time for Wes. Wes, how'd you do on that game? It went under, and OKC got the easy cover. I felt like a genius at halftime. I got to tell you, having Minnesota plus 7.5, I'm like, Oklahoma City's not ready for this. I'm a damn smart guy, and then I wasn't.
Yeah.
How'd you do, Wes?
Well, I laid 4.5. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I laid 4.5 first half, and I laid 7 for the game, so I got half of it right. I got the full game right. They just didn't start as fast as I thought they would. OKC did not. But, yeah, I like them in the series. I kind of like Minnesota, though, to bounce back here, even though OKC just blew them out. I think that they kind of figured some things out. If you think about it, it was kind of embarrassing for Minnesota because they have the two big men, right? Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert, and yet they were severely out-rebounded. And not only that, but OKC, they outscored them in the paint by like 20 points or something like that. So that's kind of embarrassing. So Gobert and Naz Reid, they need to play a lot better. I think they will. I think they're going to sort some stuff out, and they're going to be competitive. I don't know if they win game 2, but I like them to stay inside the number.
Naz Reid looked like he went from being 6th man of the year to 10th man of the year. He was not good at all. Yeah, I did not have Chet Holmgren dominating Rudy Gobert on my bingo card, I have to admit. So, and then we got a game tonight, Wes. We've got the Pacers and who do you call it there? The Knicks, which they're I hear good things about them. New York, a little bit of a home favorite there. That number opened 3.5, went to 4.5, total 221.5, and that is down. Wes, what's your feelings on the Eastern Conference Final here tonight?
I think it's going to be fast-paced. Both teams are actually doing very well versus the spread, but obviously the reason for that is because they were both underdogs in the last series and they kept winning outright. That's why their numbers are translating versus the spread. But the Pacers, man, they like to run. The Pacers do not play that great of defense. They're a mid-level defensive team in the NBA. And I think it's just going to start fast tonight. I think it's going to be a fast-paced game. No pun intended. I'm taking the over, even though it is coming down, so it might be a little bit of a public fade, which I like sometimes. But, yeah, give me the over tonight, even though it's falling a little bit. I still like a lot of points. It could go to overtime, too. You might get help with overtime, too.
Well, I got that high-quality CLV, baby. I locked this number in at 224 yesterday, so it can probably go right there in the CLV trash can when this is done. So we'll see what happens. Tommy, how'd you do on the Minnesota game?
The Minnesota game, like Wes, I had Oklahoma City in the first half, so that didn't cash. I was also on the over, so that didn't cash. So I didn't have a great game. What I did notice was that this Oklahoma City defense, the number 1 defense in the league, when they want to play defense, they could shut down any team. Minnesota looked lost. They also looked lost in the first game against Golden State, too, when they bounced back from that. But I still think that Oklahoma City is the best team.
Yeah, I agree. And they were slightly aided after that first Golden State game that Golden State didn't have Curry available anymore. That also made a difference. Just throwing it out there. But do you see Oklahoma City keeping it going, or you see Minnesota bouncing back in game 2?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably be on the over again. But
okay.
Yeah, I just think Oklahoma City could dominate. They were supposed to be here last year and they didn't make it. I think they're going to have some aggression because of that reason.
Well, and this is a Thunder team, man, that has some serious differential in their home road splits. At home, They're averaging 124 points a game. On the road, they're averaging 106.8. Defense has been better at home, giving up just 102.8 at home versus 108.4 on the road. So I think I'm going to switch horses here in the middle of the stream. This is the Oklahoma City team. I thought they might be at a disadvantage because Minnesota had the rest advantage with 4-day rest advantage. Made no difference at all. That's the upside of having the youngest team in the league. Yes, they're inexperienced, but they got those young legs, man. They can bounce back, go back there and play, and probably could have played another one right after this one. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, and let's talk to Mr. Guns over here. Oh, by the way, Tommy, who you got Indianapolis in New York?
I like the Pacers to win the series. I have a premium play on this one tonight, so okay. I don't want to get too much into it. But I think the Pacers are going to have trouble stopping Cat. Other than that, I've been backing them for a while, the Pacers. So I just think they have the more depth. As the longer the series goes, I think it benefits the Pacers.
All right. Very good. That's good insight. I also like watching the difference when you see, you watch New York play, they always show the celebrity sightings. You got Spike Lee and Jon Stewart and Seth Meyers and all those guys, Tracy Morgan, all there. And you go to Oklahoma and they've got the guy that finished 6th on The Voice in 2019. So that's always a little bit of a difference there. So, Guns, how'd you do on the OKC game, baby?
I mean, I've been dabbling a little bit in the NBA. I've been posting my plays in the NBA because calling myself an NBA capper in the playoffs is kind of like a disservice I would be doing with everybody. I'm kind of looking a little bit more towards the line correlation on this one. I thought Minnesota was one of those teams that could probably stay in the game, so I had a small bet on them on the full game. Didn't come to fruition. I thought that defense would really step up in that game because they've been playing really good defense as of late, but that OKC playing at home, that was that one spot that maybe that was probably the wrong time to take them, knowing the line was at 7. It was a little bit closer at the 4 or 5 or something like that, or maybe even the 3.5 range. That's probably be more of a Minnesota line. So I did lose on that one. The NBA, I've just been kind of spattering here and there just personally. It's been a difficult for me to just jump in like double Dutch into the play, not playing in the regular season and getting into the playoffs now just out of boredom. But yeah, that game, kind of escaped me. I do have like some takes on that on the game tonight, though. I would just kind of, as we were talking here, I was just kind of looking at some situational type of elements here, and I think there's a couple of leans I have on that one.
Okay, anything you want to share?
Yeah, I want to share. Let's talk about like the total on this game. Right, I think I agree with Sniper Picks on this one. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. Just looking at the line correlation on this one. Now, when you're dealing with the Indiana Pacers, especially in the playoffs, if it hits in that 230 range or higher, usually those are the when they start hitting the unders. But when they hit in that sweet spot, which is the 220 to 229, it looks like the over's been hit. I think it's like 5 straight so far when the total situation is at that level. And these guys are like, they've gone, like, I think I would even say, granted that the Knicks did smoke the Celtics, but Celtics had some injuries. Porzingis was dealing with some illness that nobody's talking about. Tatum out, of course, that kind of affected things the way they did, but they've been like getting to the hoop. They've been putting up points. They've been playing at a higher pace. I think they can get points in this one. Same thing with Indiana. Even when you looked at that Boston Celtics series, Boston just couldn't make threes in a lot of cases, but they were getting open looks. So the defense for the Knicks isn't that great either. So I think this is going to be a tit for tat here on the points. I like the over in that game. And just in game one, I lean towards the Knicks on this one. I think it could be a home and home type of situation for both of these teams.
Very good. Yeah, that number opened 3.5 and quickly went to 4.5. That New York money came in quick. So, and then it's kind of stayed there. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Should be a fun game. So that'll be interesting to see. All right. So, Loud, you kind of mentioned it earlier. It is also, of course, the NHL Conference Finals as well. Dallas is taking on the Oilers. Game 1 is tonight, and Florida took the first game against the Panthers there. They lead 1-0, and then of course game 2 will be tomorrow night. So, what's your feelings, Loud? How's it going to go from here, and how are you playing it?
Well, I think the Hurricanes really needed to get some confidence going, and that absolutely did not happen. They got crushed in that first game. I think that series is going to be over in 5 or 6. I love the Panthers in the game, in the series, with winning that first game on the road. Oilers and the Stars, I like the Stars. You know, they're, I think, a better team than the Oilers. And, who wants to see a team from Canada in the playoffs, in the finals? You know what I mean? God.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, who wants to see that? So, yeah, in the series, I like the Stars and I like the Panthers. I don't think either one is going to go 7th. That's my feeling on those playoffs. But again, it's really hard this time of year picking individual games because there's just not a lot of great value a lot of the time, unless you want to lean out over your skis on the puck line at, -1.5 or something, which is tough to do for me in these playoffs. Of course, if you had in that first game with the Panthers, you would have done quite well. But that's my feelings on these NHL playoffs.
Okay. All right. Very solid. Yeah, I was going to see what the so yeah, tonight Dallas is -134, and you want to take that puck line, huh? You want to step up?
Yeah, that's not a terrible price. Again, it in general plus money, but first game at home, Dallas has a great home ice advantage. They're the better team. They're the 3 seed. They're facing a 6 seed. Yeah, I mean, if I put a gun to my head, I'm on the Stars -134.
Wes, let's talk about those totals a little bit. 6.5 in the West and 5.5 in the East. Apparently in the NHL, the old axiom defense wins championships is alive and well. You want to speak to those totals?
Yeah, so regarding tonight, I like the over. Edmonton, they've just been scoring left and right. And obviously they've had some time off, which could bode well or not bode well for them because they've had like a while off. I think it's like 5-6 days, something like that.
Right.
Dallas has had a couple days off, but sometimes it takes you a little while to start gelling again. But I don't think so with Edmonton. Edmonton, they got a lot of ammo in the gun, so to speak. And if you look at the recent games, they had 7 goals versus Vegas on May 10th. They had 9 on May 8th. They had 6 on May 6th. They had 10. That was versus the Kings. That Kings game, the Kings series was just wild. They were going over the total pretty much every single game. So Edmonton can bring it every single night. Dallas is no stranger to the back of the net either. Although actually their last 3 versus Winnipeg, they went under, but that's because Winnipeg, they were the number 1 defense in the NHL. Edmonton is not as good of a defense nearly as Winnipeg was. So I like the over tonight. Regarding the Panthers and the Hurricanes, this drives me crazy. Tell me if this drives you crazy. You have the Carolina Hurricanes, who also have a Carolina Panthers in Carolina, and Florida is the Panthers. They play hockey in Florida, and there's also the Miami Hurricanes, who are the college team. Drives me absolutely nuts. Every time I do my write-ups, I always type in Carolina Panthers, and I have to go fix it.
Right.
Anyway, that's the Bermuda Triangle of the day. But anyway, Florida's the better team here. Carolina, they were favored in game 1, and they're favored in game 2, and I don't know why. This goes back to, I think, the past 2 weeks on this very show, I've been talking about how the wrong team has been favored. It seems like a lot in these Stanley Cup playoffs, and I think the wrong team is favored here again. Like Lou, I don't think this goes 7. I think Florida probably closes out in 5 or 6. They're the better team. They have a championship pedigree. They are the Stanley Cup champions. And give me Florida tomorrow at plus money. You're going to give me the better team at plus money. I don't care if they're on the road. It's hockey. Give me Florida tomorrow.
Yeah, plus 106. Very good. And that total of 5.5 tomorrow, you touching that at all?
Yeah, so I was on the under because Carolina is a fantastic under team. They have been for about a decade now. They were very profitable. If you just bet them under the total all year long, you would have made a lot of money. But that burned me. Obviously, it went over last night. So, I mean, I probably lean under.
FYI, David Delano is saying he's here in the chat, but I don't see him. So I texted him and said, "Hey, turn on your camera. We can't see you." So I don't know what's going on.
I think Ryan has to let him in, possibly.
I already talked.
But anyway,
about
I like the under. I'm going to keep riding the under in the Carolina Hurricanes games because it's been good to bettors all year long. So I'm just going to keep riding that trend.
5.5 doesn't scare you, huh?
No, definitely not. 5 scares me. 5.5 doesn't.
Yeah, they just went over in the first game, right? It was like 5-2 or something like that. First game.
Yeah, they did. I was on the under too, and I lost. But I think I had bet every single Carolina game in the prior series, and I think every single game went under. Or maybe one of them went over actually. But
I'm getting a
profitable.
vision. I'm getting a vision. There's 90 seconds left. They have pulled their goalie in a 3-2 game. Oh, there it is, an empty netter. Damn it! All right.
Yeah,
the worst.
Yeah. Tale as old as time.
Tom, is there a worse beat in sports than the empty netter? We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, we had this one last week.
I know, man. It's just
it doesn't bother me because I mess with the puck line. So
there you go. There you go. As long
Extra
as you're
innings in baseball when you have a total 2 is a detriment. I had one today with Baltimore. It just absolutely crushed me.
Yeah, and what's that guy doing on second base? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Is it wiffle ball in the backyard? Get the ghost runner out of there. God,
Yeah.
and I guess it's here to stay. But man, that's my old man rant for the day.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Tommy, how do you see these two going? Starting with
so with Edmonton, like I said last week, I think Florida and Edmonton are going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals again. I just think we haven't seen the best of Edmonton. I really like this Stars team, but I just think they're going to come out even when they're down. They've been down in every series, and they just crush these teams after fucking second game. And I think the Oilers are going to do the same. I have nothing on tonight's game, but I think even if the Oilers lose tonight, that they're gonna win this series. We'll go to 6 games.
All right, very good. And in the East,
yeah, unfortunately, I have Hurricanes futures. Doesn't look like they're going to be good. If Florida wins this game too, I think it's going to be a sweep here. Florida's so good.
yeah, that's a good hockey team for sure. All right, very good. You got a thought on the total for tomorrow night? That 5.5. Where you at?
I don't mind going under 5.5, especially in the playoffs, but I won't touch it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Guns, we talked a little bit on this show about how hockey's different in that just about everybody on the team plays with 4 lines. So Edmonton arguably has 2 of the top 5 players in the NHL, and Draisaitl and McDavid, but it doesn't really matter because they can't be out there all the time. So, Guns, how does that affect you on when you make hockey bets?
Oh, geez. The minimal amount of hockey bets that I make is pretty much in the playoffs. I like, for me, like in any other cap, and this might be a little bit different than, I have a very hard time watching my bets. And that's just the truth of it. I do like watching the NFL. I like watching college football because it's just fun to watch. College basketball, same thing. But if I'm betting on other sports, I'm more looking at the numerical patterns of everything. It's like, how do these teams react when the line is for a total, for example, is at 5.5. Well, why is it at 5.5? It's like you find out, you start breaking it down, you can find it to the defense, and it kind of correlates to even the side on the game. If it's a -130, and how do they react when it's a 5.5. So I look at things like that. As far as like you talk about lines and changes are concerned, I guess if you're looking at that type of pattern, you'd have to probably just look at, okay, well, how do these lines average as far as scoring goes? It's like, is there stats on that? That's probably stuff I would probably look for if I'm looking at a total. How do these teams do in power play situations? That's probably something I want to see, is not just on the offensive side, what's their success rate, but on their defensive side, because every time there's power plays, that's where if you got a total, you're starting to tighten up a little bit, because this is where scoring starts hitting in, or in situations when they're up like 3-1 or 4-1, and then you got to pull the goalie and you're just sitting there biting your nails. Hopefully they don't get that extra goal that gets you over. Right. There's a lot of elements that could take you out of it. So I just focus a little bit more on the patternistic. How does this team perform when they're in like basketball, when they're a 3.5 point favorite at home? How do they perform when the total is between 200 and 210? Same thing with hockey. How do they perform when the total's over 6 or 6 and over, or how do they perform when it's under 6? That'd probably be stuff I'd look for.
And that's actually a great point, because there's a lot of people out there, and I put myself in this bucket. There's a lot of people out there that they bet basketball, they bet football, maybe even make some baseball bets, but they don't bet hockey because they didn't grow up with it. They don't know the sport as well. They don't know the difference between icing and offsides or whatever. But you just laid out a plan that if you want to be a hockey bettor, there is a place to start. You don't have to know every player on every team. You can start with the numbers, looking for patterns, and base your bets on those. And there are some of those patterns that are transferable from one sport to another, or how they perform when the total is this, how they perform as this kind of underdog. So that's actually a great take. And
it's like baseball. I mean, when you bet baseball, you're betting, how are you looking at the numbers? You're looking at the money line.
right.
You may be looking at the run line, and they have a puck line too. And they have a total that's kind of around the same range, except, baseball is anywhere between 7.5 and 9.5 a lot of occasions. And hockey's like anywhere between it's gone up. It used to be able to get 4.5, but now it's up to like 5.5 would be the average, 5, maybe even the 6s now. So
I'd say it's probably between 6 and 6.5 would be.
So and I think even totals in baseball went up as far as they keep, as they evolve the rules and they change the game a little bit, it kind of upticks some of the numbers, but it's the same type of look. Is like, okay, well, the line's at -134. I was like, how's this team performed in a range between -130 and -140? And is it home versus away? And that'd be stuff that I kind of look for and see if there's something that, like, maybe this team, when the line is this, they're 7-1 straight up. I was like, okay. And the other side, you look them as a dog, they're 0-8. It's like, boom, there's your play.
Right. Very solid. Very solid. All right. And now it is the moment that everybody tunes in for. Get ready to hit record, kids, because it's time for the UFL report featuring Loud Esmond. Loud, you've got a very, very important piece of information that if anybody's even thinking about making a UFL bet, they should know. What is that?
Well, that the next 2 weeks don't matter at all.
There you go.
Because of the weird way that the UFL does their playoffs. Let me just rewind a little bit. I went 3-1 last week, week 8 of the UFL. I lost the Friday night game between the awful teams of the Showboats and the Brahmas, and I broke one of my cardinal rules, which I never bet on bad teams versus bad teams. But I gave everybody a pick because I swore before the beginning of the season I was going to give out a free pick on every game. So I just chose under because both those teams are so awful on offense, but it went over. But I won the next 3. I didn't want to pick a winner between the Stallions and Battlehawks because they're both pretty good. And I said, let's go over in that game. And it cashed. I thought the Panthers would destroy the Roughnecks because the Roughnecks were just, out of the playoffs, and they lost horribly on bad beat the week before. And I thought they'd just be totally demoralized. And they played like a team that doesn't care. And the Panthers easily covered the -6.5. And then the Renegades and the Defenders, the total was 43.5, which is kind of high for the UFL. And I said, nope, that total might go north of 60. So that was my best bet of the week. And the final was 33-30 for 63 points. So those were the 3 wins. Like I said, the last 2 weeks of the season are going to be meaningless because the way that they do it in the UFL is you have the USFL division and the XFL division, and you have 4 teams in each division, and the top 2 teams face each other in the playoffs. Well, guess what? It's all decided. The Defenders and the Battlehawks in the XFL conference are 6-2, and the Renegades are 3-5, and the Brahmas are 1-7. So no matter what happens, the Defenders and the Battlehawks are both going to be in the playoffs. And guess what? The place that they're going to play the game has already been decided. They're going to play in the Battlehawks home stadium. So there's no advantage for you can't even get home field advantage. And then in the other division, you have the Stallions who are at 5-3, the Panthers from Michigan at 6-2, and it's already been decided. Those 2 teams are going. Everybody else is not. Oh, no, by the way, the Stallions get a home game. And that's because there's a limited number of stadiums they actually play in, and they want to feature the best stadiums with the best crowds. And so no matter what, they're playing 1 game in Stallions and 1 game at the Battlehawks, and it's all decided and over. So this one strategy. Oh, by the way, the UFL teams only dress 42 players on game day. So they are very thin on depth. Quarterback play is horrible in this league. There are really 3 or 4 good quarterbacks. And then there's very few really great skilled people. So a lot of these teams are depending on 1 or 2 players on offense for most of their production. And I don't see any of those people playing. It would be insane. So the play for the weekend is basically, I would look at every under as being where I would be looking to go if I was to play any of these games, again, because it's just the outcomes are absolutely meaningless at this point.
Is this the version of, I guess this would be the UFL's version of week 18 in the NFL? I mean, this is like, you don't know who's going to be playing for what, who cares, who doesn't. Is that what this week is for the UFL?
But the problem is for the UFL, with only 8 teams in the entire league,
right?
The chances that you're going to have it all decided before it was almost decided before week 7. So, you could have had a third of the season, because they only play 10 games, where none of the games mattered, because the difference between the good teams and the bad teams is so huge. And it's really because 3 or 4 teams have decent quarterbacks, the others don't. And so there's just this chasm drop off between the good teams and the bad teams.
Well, you and I talked about it on your show last Friday a little bit. This time of the year, the top 120, 150 quarterbacks are on an NFL roster. There are a lot of teams carrying 4 or 5 quarterbacks this time of year.
Or if you're the Cleveland Browns, you have 16.
Yeah, you have a room full.
You have 3 roster and you add 2 in the draft. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You're going to make 3 of those guys tight ends, I'm pretty sure. Delano, I know you wanted to stop back by and you were praying that you made it for the UFL minute. So do you have any thoughts on the UFL playoffs going forward or the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I made it for my favorite segment, of course. But all jokes aside, I'm actually supposed to be working on an article pretty soon for the Michigan game. So I have been following some of that in the UFL. But yeah, like Lou was saying, it's just really a big discrepancy in these teams right now. You've got teams playing for something, teams playing for nothing, and you've only got 4 teams going into the playoffs. I'm thinking right now, I kind of like the Panthers as far as what I'm seeing. Just kind of looking ahead.
Yeah, with you, I think they're the most likely team to win the championship.
Yeah, so we see eye to eye with that. So that's a stone cold lock.
Very good. You got a little cold work in there, buddy? A little cold allergy thing?
Maybe that, and I think just been doing too many videos, and also just maybe too much screaming. So
you got a newborn. You got a baby at home too, so you're not getting that much sleep either.
Yeah, I'm not, and I've just been talking nonstop. So sorry, right, I thought I was gonna have more with it, but
very good. And real quick, you got any NBA thoughts you want to share tonight or tomorrow night?
Yeah, so I like the thoughts that these NBA playoffs are so up and down. I was watching behind the scenes of some of Guns' thoughts as far as jumping in, and he made a lot of great cases to the over, which is one of the reasons why I'm staying off of this one, because as all the trends and things are really leaning towards a high scoring game in the over, but I'm kind of thinking game 1, such a layoff that we might see one under the total. But with that being said, I don't feel confident enough to actually bet the under. So it's kind of more of a stay away spot. I'm almost tempted to take these are both leans for me. Tempted to take the Pacers, just wondering if it's going to be a little bit of a letdown for the Knicks. They've been celebrating like they won the championship, but it's been hard for me to get involved in some of these lately. Little plug for myself. Like last month, I've been hitting about 67% in Major League Baseball. and I'm right around that 50% range in the NBA. So it's kind of like the basketball. When I make too many basketball picks, same thing with college. Just kind of been pulling my bankroll down. So I'm trying to be really selective in these spots, and I think that I want to see what happens, and I may go the other way. Like if the Pacers can steal one tonight, I'll probably come back with the Knicks in game 2. And I want to kind of see how it plays over with pace, because I was on the over last night in that Oklahoma City game, and that's kind of one of the reasons I'm a little nervous to come out on the total tonight.
I think a lot of us were on the over in that OKC game, just judging from this conversation that we've been having. So you're not alone, my friend. All right. So Dave mentioned the MLB. It's what are we, about a third of the way through the season, somewhere in that neck of the woods, maybe not quite. Loud, what are you looking at like tonight, tomorrow, and then anything catch your eye over the weekend?
As far as baseball, it's just not been on my radar screen all that much. Let's see. Bet against the Rockies.
Solid fade.
Money line or run line?
Either. I just.
Yeah, there you go. Take a minus 300.
The best season I ever had betting baseball, it was actually all based on overs and unders, and I was betting the weather. And I was really focused on places like Colorado, San Francisco, Oakland, where you can either have really hot weather or really cold weather. I mean, I grew up in California. I spent a lot of time in the Bay Area, and I used to go to Oakland A's and San Francisco Giants games, going all the way back to Candlestick.
What year did you go to a warm Giants game? Man, that is the coldest town in America. I don't.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. Is I would always bet under. I would look at the weather, and especially if it was going to be foggy and wet.
Onshore flow, baby. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going. It's under in this game. I would be betting the unders in San Francisco, Oakland, and taking overs in Colorado when it was above 85 degrees.
Yep. Padres, Dodgers, Giants. It used to be the A's. Man, solid under teams at night, especially.
Right.
So, are you looking at anything tonight? Any plays you got going?
No, I'm already. I love my football, and I'm already actually looking at some over/under totals in the NFL. So I can talk about some of those if you like. But baseball is not a focus of mine right now. But if you want to go on to baseball, picks on somebody else.
All right, we'll close with some NHL. We'll close with some NFL.
Some over/unders in the NFL. Okay.
Yeah, we'll close with the
Guns will jump in on that with me.
True story about the Colorado Rockies. They're 3-22 on the road. I have faded them twice on the road and got beat both times. So just saying.
Man, Scott, you can pick them. Wow.
Running hot, baby. Running hot. Unbelievable. Wes, what are you doing in baseball, man? You looking at anything?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the standings. I can't, it's kind of crazy. The Detroit Tigers have the best record in baseball. I do have a future on them to win that division, so that's looking pretty good. They're 6 games in front of Minnesota. Minnesota coming on too, right? Didn't they win 10 in a row recently or something?
I think they won 13 straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right back into the conversation.
Oh, they're losing now. They're down 5-1, I think.
And Detroit already won today, though.
Yep.
Royals won. Scored 8 runs. That's 3 games worth for them.
I will say tonight, call me a homer. Obviously, I'm a Dodger fan. I'm from LA, but anytime you can look at the Dodgers under minus 150 or so, I always take a good hard look at it because, it's not too often that you get to look at them in that territory. So I'd look at Dustin May. He's up and down on the year, but he does have some good outings, or carrot top, as I like to call him. But I'd probably look a little toward the Dodgers tonight. I did grab the A's yesterday when they were about minus 145. They're pretty juicy right now, about minus 170. I got a pretty decent price on them yesterday. I kind of like the A's to do well tonight. But those are my thoughts for this evening.
Okay, very good. Tommy, got anything cooking on the diamond?
Yeah, actually, with the A's game, I got them on their run line earlier this morning, so that was a great price too. Obviously, I like them. But I like their pitcher tonight, J.P. Sears, to get over 4.5 strikeouts. That's at plus money. This, I want to say Oakland. This Athletics bullpen is really, really bad. So these starting pitchers, if they're going well, they pitch longer than you would see on other teams. He's not a big strikeout pitcher, but the Angels strike out a lot. So I think he's going to see enough batters to get over the 4.5 strikeouts.
Okay. All right. Very solid. So Wes, you're willing to fade Corbin Burns, huh?
Yeah, I'll take a shot fading Corbin Burns. Why not? No, he's a fantastic pitcher. Don't get me wrong. Came over from Baltimore. He's great with Baltimore too, and the Brewers back in the day. Any pitcher can get got on any day in Major League Baseball. I think we would all agree on that. And taking a look at his numbers. So what? 2.60 ERA currently. 1.23 WHIP. Pretty good. How'd he do his last outing? That's what I like to do. I like to look at the last 3 outings. So yeah, six innings, no earned run, 7 innings, no earned run, and 6 innings. So he's been pitching fantastic. So yeah, maybe a little bit scary to fade him, but I'm of the mind that what goes up must come down. Sooner or later, he's going to have a letdown versus someone, and why not the Dodgers?
Okay, all right, fair enough. Guns, what are you looking at MLB wise these days?
Let's talk about that Dodgers game. I think I'm going. I mean, it's a little bit dangerous territory because you see Burns is really pitching real well, especially in his last. You mentioned his last like 4 starts. I think after 5 innings, he's only given up 2 runs in his last 4 starts. So he's really been playing like an under pitcher. Same thing on May's side. As long as he's pitching at home, he's usually been pitching really well, giving up 1 run, 0 runs in those first 5 inning windows. They had an over yesterday. I did take the over in that game yesterday. The first 5 innings, it was 1-0. So it was a low scoring game until they started the bats started to wake up and they started scoring in that game. But I think it's going to be one of those situations that I'm going to be fading Corbin Burns, even though in his last four times he's pitched. I'm going to take him in the first 5, take May on the first 5, at -125 for him. And then I like the under in that game because coming off that late scoring drive to get to the over, the under's 9. I got it at. So I think it's going to be a low scoring affair between 2 pitchers, especially Burns, how he's pitching, and the same thing with May, how he pitches at home.
All right. Very good. Anything over the weekend or anything further ahead you're looking at?
Yeah, I kind of wrote some leans on Thursday. I'm just treating it like day to day. I'm looking at you talk about Colorado overs. I'm going to like the Philly Colorado over tomorrow. I really like that pitching matchup, kind of works out. I like the Angels in a first 5 type of situation tomorrow playing on the road. I think if you look at the pitching matchup there, it kind of works into the trends. Can't think of who the pitchers are off the top of my head. Anderson, I think, is going to be pitching tomorrow for the A's. He's pitched really good on the road in first 5 inning windows. So I like that one tomorrow. And then
tomorrow, yes, Tyler Anderson and Severino for the A's.
Yeah, Severino for the Athletics. You look at him; he's just been absolutely bad, especially at home. He's underperformed in that one, giving up a lot of runs. So I'm not really high on him. So I'm leaning towards the Angels tomorrow, just in the first 5. Don't want to get screwed on them. And then I did have the under in the Atlanta-Washington game that did get rained out. So I'm going to run it back tomorrow, but I'm going to do it in the first 5. Atlanta-Washington under first 5. Those are the ones that I've looked at so far. I haven't completed my list, but those are the games I'm eyeing in on.
And just for everybody listening, do you tend to lean towards first 5s to take the bullpen out of the equation?
Yes, it's that sample size where more often than not, I'm going to be dealing with one pitcher unless they get shelled, right? I mean, but I also I have a spreadsheet that tracks every single starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, every single outcome in first 5s, and it averages I know their record in first 5s if they have the lead, if they don't have the lead. So I'm just going off this spreadsheet that I track for like 2 months before I start actually betting first 5s. Normally, I'm just doing line correlation on full games. This year, I'm doing a little bit of a mix. I'm doing a little bit of full game. I'm doing a little bit of first 5s just to kind of mix it up a little bit. And I've done pretty well. I mean, April, I was at 53%, and now in May, I'm at 58%. So I'm right on path. The problem is, if I track my record down 3 or 4 years, at this point. June is where everything shifts, and I don't know why. And I look at my record, and I'm like, I'm always bad in June, so I have to be a little bit cautious about that. And I think it's because the weather changes, gets a little bit more humid, unders become overs, overs become unders, whatever the case may be. Or some pitchers pitch well in April and May, and some don't pitch well in the summer, the way the ball moves or something. But who knows? So there's always like that continental shift, and then I pick it back up in July and August.
Okay, very good. Mr. Delano, Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, so a little bit of a difference for me. I don't usually do a whole lot of first fives, but I actually do like the Diamondbacks tonight. But just for the first five, I'm not really into the. I mean, I heard your thoughts on Dustin May. I'm not feeling too good about him or fading Corbin Burns, but I also, the Dodgers' ability to come back late in the games and that Diamondbacks bullpen, not something that I trust. I trust Corbin Burns. I don't trust that Diamondbacks bullpen. So I actually have the Diamondbacks on the, plus half a run, minus 130 for the first five to at least, if they can be tied with the Dodgers for the first 5 innings, we'll cash. I know Lau doesn't watch a lot of baseball, but I mean, he's right with the Rockies. That's one of those things you want to get on early. I am on the Phillies tonight. I got them early, minus 1.5, minus 155. The Rockies are so bad that I'm actually seeing like 3-point spreads in baseball, which is crazy. Usually it's just only minus half or 1.5 runs, and you're seeing minus 3s pop up if you wait. So, and even they're still not covering a lot of those. So going up against the Rockies, as crazy as these numbers are, even if you're fading them, I would not recommend laying money line at these prices, but they're so bad that even if you were doing something like that, they're not cashing. So that's as far as what I'm looking at tonight. And I like the Tigers. I'm going into that series against the Guardians, looking at tomorrow. Flaherty's been up and down, but he's got a really strong track record against this Guardians lineup. And minus 135, good price for the Tigers. So I do like the Tigers for tomorrow, and the Diamondbacks first five tonight, along with fading those Rockies.
Yeah.
By the way, I
ahead.
just want to give a trend out here. Corbin Burns on the road in first fives, 0-4 this season.
There you go. There you go.
But like I said, in his last 3 starts, he's 3-1 in first fives, and he's given up 2 runs in his last 4 starts, I think. So you never know.
So Delano, let me ask you, how many Pittsburgh unders have you been playing? This is a Pirates team, by the way, if you don't know, on 26 straight games without scoring more than 4 runs. They've been a very solid under team for the last month. Anybody been jumping on that trend?
I haven't. I've been playing more of your Kansas City Royals unders. I've been playing Kansas City Royals unders, some of these Tampa Bay unders at times. Not today, but first
Rangers unders too.
Yeah, exactly. The Tampa Bay Astros series, I was on the unders before today. I stayed away from that, but I haven't been messing with a whole lot of those Pirates games. They've been kind of one of those weird teams for me. I think that we always have some where when you jump on, things go the other way. And Guns made actually an interesting point. For me too, June is always an interesting month where I want to tread lightly. Weird things happen. I'm still going to be out there, but you want to have more of those days, 1-2 plays. You don't want to start having those, at least for me, those 5-play days. Things can kind of get away from you fast. So I start to kind of, as we get closer to the end of June, going into July, for whatever reason, year after year, weird things happen. And a lot of things that this part of the year where it's almost like you can't miss, you start looking at things the same and things start going backwards. And, even at some point at 8-40, the Rockies are going to have to start winning games somehow. I'm not really trying to back them, but at some point they're going to start winning games, and it's going to start throwing.
If you look at that Rockies pitching staff, I'm going to go. I got the stats here in front of me. Kyle Freeland, the ace of the staff, 5.68 ERA, 1.60 WHIP. Sensatella, who amazingly is still in the league, 6.34 ERA, 1.97 WHIP. Herman Marquez, remember him? Yeah, he still sucks. 8.78 ERA. 1
He's good for first 5 overs too. He's a good first 5 over guy.
Oh yeah. He gave up 6 in 2 innings the other night.
Yeah.
Chase Dolander, 628, 142 whip. Don't worry though. We have Ryan Feltner.
He's
who
still
would be
young.
the staff
Dolander
leader.
will get right. He's still a kid. So.
Yeah, and the Feltner 475 148. That's almost a mark for a 4 or 5 starter. He's hurt, however, he's on the injured list. So they put in Bradley Blaylock. How'd Brad do? Ooh, not good. 12.94 ERA, 206 whip.
It's interesting when you say that. We might be looking at possibly, is this the worst starting rotation of all time?
It's certainly projecting that way. I don't know how it'll be after 75 more games, but right now they are giving that a run for their money.
They're going with Palmquist today, and he has a 1.75 whip and 11.25 ERA. That's who they're going with today.
Oh, Carson Palmquist, of course. I could never get his 11 1/4, 1 3/4 whip. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure that'll go well. These guys are terrible, and you'd think, well, they have high ERAs because they play in Colorado. Well, it makes sense, except they're the worst road team by far. Mm-hmm. They have their run differential is more than twice as bad as any other team except Baltimore. That is just stunning. Their run differential is over like 3.15 runs per game. So
they don't have much help in the minors either. So
I would assume not, or they'd be there.
Yeah,
I mean,
right? They draft pitchers for some reason.
The Rocky Mountains where pitchers go to die. All right, very good. All right, guys. Well, let's finish up with everybody's favorite freaking sport. It's the NFL. Loud, you laid out 5 totals for us last week, and today I'm assuming you're going to lay out 5 more. What do you got?
Well, okay, so I'm still in the AFC, and last week I looked at the worst teams in the AFC in terms of winning games and what their number is this year. So now I'm going back and I'm looking at the best team records last year, except I'm throwing in the Jets here because it's just something interesting that I noticed, and also the Saints. So the Bills went 13-4 last year, the Ravens 12-5, the Chiefs 15-2, and the Texans 10-7. The number for all of those teams is a modest over 11.5. And I looked at the schedule for everybody, and I'll start with your Chiefs, Scott.
NFC East, AFC South.
Correct. So let's just take their division opponents: Raiders, Chargers, Broncos. None of those teams really scare me. I think the Broncos could be pretty good. The Chargers are a work in progress. The Raiders suck out loud. So let's say they go and lose a high 2 games in their division out of the 6 division games that they played. Let's say they go 4-2. Okay. Now at the Chiefs, and they got so lucky in the scheduling here, all the really good teams that they play for the most part, except for the Bills, have to come to Arrowhead.
That's right.
Eagles, Ravens, Lions, Commanders are all going to be good teams, but they all have to come to the Chiefs to play. Also at home, they get the Colts and the Texans. I'm going to say that they come out of that 5-1. And with the one most likely loss being to the Eagles. They might lose 2. They might lose to the Ravens as well. I think the Lions are going to take a step back. The Commanders won a lot of games late last year. The Colts and the Texans don't bother me or scare me at all going to Arrowhead. And then they're at the Titans. They suck. At the Cowboys, they don't really frighten me. At the Jaguars, who cares? At the Giants, they suck. And at the Bills. And let's say they go 4-1 there. So you've got a total of, on the high side, 5 losses. And I think they could do better. So I'm on the over for them. Over 11.5. Let's say they go 12-5 at a minimum. The Bills, now this has almost never happened in the NFL previously. The Bills are favored in every single game they play. Go look at it right now. They are favored in every single game they play. They have a weak division. I don't think Miami's great. I don't think the Jets are very good. The Patriots, I think, are going to be much improved, but they're not in the Bills class. So, it's kind of like going back to the Patriots when the Bills were terrible and Miami was terrible and the Jets were terrible. Oh, what's true still? Oh, the Jets and Miami are still not very good. So, 11.5 when they're favored in every single game. Over. If anything happens to Josh Allen, that all changes. But if he stays healthy, over 11.5. And the Ravens.
Wait. How many teams could you say that about?
What?
If something happens to Mahomes for the Chiefs, if something happens to Allen, something happens to Lamar Jackson,
of anybody.
Tua,
Right.
So yeah.
When you're looking at any of the very good teams, they all have one thing in common: they have very good quarterbacks. So if the quarterback gets hurt on one of the very good teams, your win-loss total is out the window. But the funny thing is, on the bad teams, it might not make that much difference, right?
No, that's true.
So it's not going to change that much. The Chiefs and the Bills, I think, easily over. I lean over with the Ravens to go over. They're 11.5 as well. And then the Jets, their over-under number is 6.5. Looking at the schedule, I think they have a maximum of 5 wins on their schedule. Is Russell Wilson going to suddenly turn back the clock 10 years? Who on their team scares you as far as anybody? I don't see how they win. It's difficult. Fortunately, they have some teams on their schedule that really suck. They do get the Giants and the Steelers. I don't think are going to be very good. They get them. They get Carolina, and then they get the Cleveland Browns. But they get New Orleans. So those are the 5. Those are the 5 winnable games that I see on their schedule. So I don't see how they get over. I don't see how they get to 7 wins. Okay. So that's an under for me also. Right. So there you go. There's some way too early NFL schedule picks for overs and unders.
All right. Very solid. Anybody else have any win totals in the NFL they want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I got some golf real quick. All right, go ahead.
It is.
No, I just had a little trick. Like I haven't looked at. I usually wait until we get into camps and stuff like that. Just make sure there's no like funny business with a guy getting hurt. We don't want a Joe Burrow situation, and I'm holding an over on a win total. I usually what I do in this situation as far as handicap in the NFL, I start just writing down spots and highlighting certain situations as far as the calendar is concerned.
Right.
For example, teams that are going to have back-to-back road games right out, and then that's going to be a big type of element there that I may want to take them on the third leg of a road trip when they haven't had any buys. Also, I think last year, my memory must escape me, but I could have sworn there was like 2 or 3 teams that had 3 games in 10 days. Now you're seeing that I think the max, there's a few teams that have 3 games in 11 days, which still works out within the under 2 weeks. Those are going to be situations that I'm going to be paying attention to as well, especially if it's like a team that they got their ass kicked by that certain team last year. That might be another situational play. So even paying attention to third legs of either a short schedule, like 3 games in 11 days, or teams that are off back-to-back road games. Those are kind of situations that I look for in the schedule. And I just kind of start writing notes and I just go, look at this game. And I may not even bet it by say if it's a week 11 situation because of, injuries or the line escaped me, whatever. Those are the type of spots that I look for when I start writing the schedule before I do the win totals in the summer.
A lot of games out of the country too. I think it's 6 or 7 games out of the country this year.
But a lot of the times they used to get a break. Some of these teams aren't getting the break. They're just going from I then they're just flying back, and then they're in the next game. So that's I knew that happened last year, and I think that happens in some situations this year. That they may be coming off a nice little win in London and they come back and they get their dick kicked in at home. So that's
yeah. As a Chiefs fan, I will be happy if they go to Brazil and nobody gets hurt. That will be a major accomplishment because that field has claimed some victims.
Yeah,
wasn't
we
that
played
was
there last year?
That was Jordan Love last year on the last play of the game, right? In that crappy field in Sao Paulo.
Yep. Absolutely.
What other countries are they? I mean, they're going to like Germany now. I think they're going to a new country this year too.
I think they're going to. Are they going to Spain?
Yeah.
Spain. I think so.
There's
where are they going to go now? Cape Town, South
game.
Africa. I mean, where are we going? How far are we going to go down? We're going to go to Australia and have a match.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Hanoi, Vietnam.
Oh no!
debut.
You're going to play in Guam.
Coming from South Sudan, home of famine and death.
Oh man. All right, Tommy.
No, El Salvador. There's a direct connection.
I'm sure the Saudi Arabian will throw some.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they will.
The Qatar NFL wild card weekend.
Yeah, it'll be at Qatar. Yeah, that'll be a good spot.
Tom, speaking of famine and death, let's talk about my golf bets.
Yeah, real quick, Charles Schwab Challenge. This is a tough course. Don't be afraid of Scotty's number. He's probably going to win this thing. He's going for his third consecutive win. He won last week. It was a major, and he really didn't have to play this week. So I think he's going to be he wants to win this thing. Long shot I like is JJ Spawn. As I said, tough course. This is a good course fit for him. He also did well last week, so I like his form.
Okay, so you're telling me you're not afraid of just getting plus 240 on Scheffler?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
I think the number should be lower.
All right, very good, man. Everybody else is 22-1 or better.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I mean, he's
outstanding. The books know.
He finished second in the last 3 years, and I can't ignore how good he's been.
Yeah, he's certainly been the best player in the world over the last 2 years, 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but just the last 3-4 weeks, he's been unbelievable.
All right.
He had a horrible round one last week, and he just crushed everybody.
No.
Well, and this is a quick reminder to everybody: if you like hard-hitting commentary on sports you don't bet on, make sure you check out Tom and I doing our NASCAR show on Friday afternoon, because we'll get you betting. Well, you listen to Tom, you start giving his info, you'll start betting, you'll start making those NASCAR bets, and he's been crushing it here, especially lately. A little chilly over the first couple of weeks, but man, once the sun started coming out, Tom started coming out as well. So
yeah, and we have all 3 series this weekend, so that's going to be a treat too.
That's right.
I'm excited.
All right, yeah. So make sure you turn into that. That is at 6:30. It's 5:30 Eastern time, 4:30 Central time, every Friday afternoon. Hit the track, baby. So, very good. All right, guys. Any final thoughts from anybody? Okay, very
less
good.
than 100 days to college football. That's all that matters to me.
Loving that. Loud, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, you can follow me on X, Instagram, TikTok, GUNZPICKS. If you don't know the spelling, it is right there.
There it is.
And, I have a YouTube channel. I put out daily content on there. I'm doing MLB right now. I put out a daily pick for everybody. Gunspicks _ channel on YouTube. Growing through the rafters. Appreciate all the support, and thanks for having me on. I'd love to come on again.
Man, loved having you on. Loud, where can we catch you? I know you're on YouTube all the time. Where else can we catch you?
Well, I've got the Hit the Pick radio show on Friday nights, 5 p.m. in Southern California, and you can get it anywhere via computer. Just go to KMET 1490 and listen live. And you can the show is simulcast in video, so you can watch it as well. KMET 1490 Friday nights, the Hit the Pick program.
K-Man, be there or be square. Wes, where can we find you?
I'm at the Sniper Picks on X and hitthepick.com. The website's actually looking really good. It's coming along nicely.
All right, very good. And Mr. Cape, where can we find you, sir?
Yep, at Rye Cape at all social media. I'm obviously at hitthepick.com, and you can find me in the Discord. Go check it out. I'm giving out free plays all the time.
There you
Just
go.
load up on them.
Make sure you do check out all the socials for hitthepick.com. We're over there on X, and we're on
And we, by the way, when you introduce David, we do have a nickname now that is in the running. So it is David the Unicorn Delano. So you can vote on that. Make your voices heard anywhere you can see David, whether or not you like David the Unicorn Delano.
All right, Mr. Delano, that's a big step up from Black Ice, but I'm not sure we found it yet. Why are you the unicorn?
Well, Lou, he gave me the nickname, so go ahead, tell him.
Well, because we were talking about his diverse skill sets. There was somebody that was looking for a particular group of skills, and he was telling them what his skills were, and I'm like, okay, man, that's a unicorn right there. I mean, who has that combination of things? So that's why he's the unicorn, because he's got such an interesting skill set.
I don't know what you want.
Utility knives.
Appreciate that.
I don't know what you want. I don't know who you are. I don't have any money, but what I do have is a very particular set of skills.
Good luck.
That's taken, right?
Yes, that is taken.
I will find you.
Right, I will find you. Very good. Mr. Delano, where can we find the unicorn picks?
You don't remember me.
Hit the pick. I'm X at Get Sports Strong, and I'm supposed to, it doesn't sound like it right now, but somehow at 11:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be on Sports Grid TV, Sirius XM 159 with Gabe tonight. So I'm going to rest my voice because I don't want to pull a Paul George.
I was on last night with my scratchy voice with Gabe, and it sounded like I was doing a Gabe impression. All right, let's get out of there. So yeah, that'll be fun. It's Sirius XM 159. You can also find it on YouTube.
The guy with the voice, like the chainsaw's feral on that.
Oh, I can't do it. It hurts my throat just to listen to him. So
oh my goodness.
I like the Knicks tonight.
Oh, who did that? Is that you, Delano?
Yeah, maybe I'll go on there like that. Hey, Gabe,
Nailed
what about those New York Knicks basketball?
And I'm looking at Buffalo.
Nope. Delano.
Congrats on Sirius XM.
That's not bad.
That's
All
not
right.
bad.
Oh, man.
All right, guys, we're going to close out impression hour here on Hit the Pick Founders Show. As always, we thought to thank everybody for stopping by. Don't forget to stop by hitthepick.com. Grab your $25 special. You can have any one of us fabulous gentlemen. Well, almost any one of us, not the new guy, but you can have any one of us 5 old dudes. $25, 30 days of picks out the door. Every pick we make, it's a hell of a deal. It's a much better deal than you might find some other sites. So make sure you check out hitthepick.com, your place for the best action anywhere for the best price anywhere. All right, there you go. I am Scott the Steamroller Steen. You have been you, and we will see you guys back here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, Hit the Pick Founders Show. You guys have a great week. Let's go out there and make some money. Have a little fun. Take care, everybody.
Let's cash some tickets.